everybody, and welcome back to another fantastic episode of the Moonshine Militia podcast. And as you can see, we have our own very wonderful Lisa Day with us today.
Hey, everybody.
Everybody loves some Lisa Day. I'm going to tell you. Everybody's always talking Lisa Day, Lisa Day, Lisa Day.
Woohoo!
Even if they're pissed off everybody else, they always love Lisa Day. So how you been doing today?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little
Good.
shuffling here and there.
Man,
I had a big bacon sandwich.
need that energy. Be
Yeah.
out there shoveling. I'm telling you.
No lettuce and tomato, just bacon.
Just bacon. Just bacon. All right. So we'll start with this first question we got here. What was the first thing that sparked your interest in moonshining?
Well, buddy, he did it, and I had spare time, so during the day he'd show up at my house with a 12-pack of Heineken, and off we'd go, pick whatever he was picking or gathering for the day. And he made a lot of was more his thing, but he dabbled in the moonshine a bit.
Yeah.
And I was usually just cheap labor. We were always together. So I worked at an apple orchard during the summer, so I had access to the apples.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember growing up, going to visit my grandparents in Ohio. They lived probably about a mile away from this huge apple orchard. We remember going over there, and visiting and going to the apple orchard, getting fresh apple cider, being able to go out to the orchards and getting fresh apples. That's an experience that you don't forget those experiences, really. That's good stuff. And especially now, thinking back about it now that I make liquor now, I'm thinking back, I'm like, man, I need to find a place like that again. You still have that orchard around you up there?
Yeah, it's right in my hometown.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It had heirloom apples. I didn't know it at the time. I worked there for a while, and I was always doing the boxing.
Yeah.
They put them in the boxes, and then I took care of the boxes into the freezer. So I knew there were different type names of apples, but I didn't really realize how old they were.
Wow. Look at that. And now you got yourself your own still and everything. So
I know. I can't wait to try it.
coming up here when apple season, that's toward the end of the year though, right? Like fall.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, get you some good apples out there. You can be doing some good stuff.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to making a sumac.
Sumac.
Yes.
Hmm.
Corn sumac. It tastes like a lemonade.
Really?
Yeah. My grandmother had a recipe. It was for nerves. It was new mothers, and it had the recipe. And then later on in her hand scratch little penmanship, it said not bad. So it was good for new mothers and old.
Nice. So you have some experience with making moonshine. What was what was your typical from the experiences you had? What was your typical from start to finish? What was your experiences when you did that?
Like I said, I was a hugger, gatherer, toter, of everything. And I had little girls. At night, I was home. I'd make supper and be at home with the kids. So he ran at night, so I didn't really run much. So I was over the prepper and the canner and the bottler and lugger and toter. I only saw him run a couple times. He had a cake still, was what he had.
Oh, nice.
And he did a lot of, I guess you'd call them brandies, because of course I didn't know then whatever they were. It was just fruit. He did mostly whatever fruit was popular at the moment.
Yeah.
We'd go to the strawberry fields and pick strawberries. We'd pick blueberries and whatever, was ripe at the time.
Now, you've been pretty involved in a lot of the groups on Facebook. From your experience and what you've seen, what would you say are some of the bigger challenges that you've seen as looking in, you know, and the group wise? What would you think are some of the bigger challenges that you've seen?
Oh, I don't know. Little cliques of people, maybe. You know, people don't invite as many people
Yeah,
to the groups because you don't know who likes who and who's along with who, and you know who's a troublemaker. That was my first thing. Shiner Sam, he was like my first Shiner friend that I had, and his group had an argument over a T-shirt, and I didn't know enough to shut the argument down. I was moderator, but I didn't know enough to shut the argument down. I didn't know who owned the T-shirt, what it was about. It happened before me. I had to run and go get Shiner Sam to go straighten it out for him. And so then I just started getting nosy about everybody, who's who, and I started friending people, and of course Dilla was on, so you could have different friends that they were trying to build their popularity, so they liked anybody. You could
yeah,
become their friend pretty easily and stuff. And so that was my first thing of getting into the groups. But I would think that in the groups, it's the people inviting other people. They don't know who likes who and
yeah,
who gets along, and you know people seem to be getting the word out enough. I mean, Afraid Not's group, he's grown quite a
oh
bit.
yeah, quite a bit. He's doing a good job. I
Yeah,
noticed on his last feed on this past Monday, just over a couple of hours, he had over 1,000 views. So I was like,
yes, yeah.
yeah. I sent him a message telling him that was a good job. He's doing good stuff.
People do pretty good in the riffraff out of their groups too. Some
Yeah,
groups accept anybody, but
yeah,
a lot of us, we have a tight knit little family group. We try to keep them safe.
yeah. You learn. I think over that's something you learn over time uh, in dealing with people. There are some people you can put up with,
Yeah,
deal with, and some people that you have are really close with. Other people sit in the background and they just kind of lurk, and there's just people that um, want to cause trouble.
yeah.
And those are the ones you always got to be on the lookout for. And it's unfortunate, but it's kind of like high school, really. It's
But I said clicks. You don't know who you're gonna
yeah, it is.
run into, who likes each other, and I don't really have a beef with many people, but I don't
I've never heard anybody say one crossword about Lisa Day at
like
all, at all.
good. I try not to be a troublemaker.
Yeah. Now, so those are the challenges you've seen like in groups and such. Now, what would you think, like overall challenges in the world of moonshining in general might be?
Wow, the legality of it and how we've become a little bit loose in our security. We're wide open. People see the shows and stuff, and we're a little bit wide open. I think that would be something I'd like to see close up a little bit. Although I enjoy everybody's pictures and what they're doing, and it's fascinating to see the stuff they're coming up with, but it
Yeah,
does at a risk.
yeah, I can see that.
It does.
Now, there are since I've been on in there, there are many different techniques and things that I've seen people do, and I've learned. What are some of the things that you've seen out there that have made you sit back and go, "Wow"?
Oh, just the inventiveness of people, and uh, how, the building of the stills that they're doing. It's
Like I
become
said,
amazing. You know, it's
yeah,
it's some of it I don't understand. So some of it I'm just learning about still, and but
I,
people are really inventive. And
You got one of those square thumpers, right?
Excuse me?
You got one of those square thumpers?
Yes, it's a thumper. He called it a lantern.
I saw that. That was one of those things where I was like, wow.
I'd love to have it set up and just sit there in the corner. Don't dare to. It's a little bit tippy.
It looks cool. So
Yeah.
and I saw like Frayed Knots making those little stills that are actually functional.
Yes.
And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
people started making stuff, and I'm like, some of these things that people are making out, like, what are those things that they keep? I can't remember the name of them now. They keep yeast in those big Donna jugs. Donna
Yeah.
jugs.
Yep.
I never knew what those were, but Catching Bait was making some of those, and I saw those, and that when I saw him making those, I inquired about those, and I was like, and that's when I learned exactly what they were, and I was like, oh man, that's kind of cool. And people make these things, and I mean, like Tracy Bumgarner, these guys make some fabulous. It's like artwork.
Yes.
Wayne from Ozark Steelworks. I mean, some of that stuff he makes, I'm like, you don't want to use it. You want to put it on a shelf somewhere because it's like artwork.
Yeah, that's why the inventiveness of people and the creativity of the stuff they're doing. Wes with his little parakeet there. That thing's
That's
a
huge.
good thing. You know,
It is awesome.
and
So
it's
yeah,
original. Somebody that was a minimalist. That didn't want to have all the crap. They would want one of those because
yep,
it's original. You
yep.
know,
Small. You can take it, put it away when it's done, and
right?
bring it out and use it when you need it. Oh yeah, that's nice. I like
And
it. I already
the
told him I want one.
yeah, yeah, the flavoring stuff now, and
Yeah.
all the syrups and all that stuff.
Yep.
It's opened up so much, and they like to say, "Oh, it's for the girls." But come on, you know,
Yeah.
everybody likes something tasty.
Yeah. Everybody does. That's why I love a lot of my post flavor stuff sells a lot. So everybody likes tasty stuff.
Yeah, try to say, "Oh, the girls." And how you guys know? You just like a little higher proof.
Yeah. As long as you can make it higher proof and still make it tasty, it's okay.
Yeah, amazing. Like that master distiller. That's opened up so many people's ideas.
Oh yeah.
And
Just watching what they do.
people
No.
I got into it because of that master distiller show, and it exploded.
Oh yeah. Absolutely did.
8 years ago there wasn't that many people.
I think my first, I don't want to say this because you might get a big head, but my first exposure to meeting somebody from Master Distiller was Rigsby. I had talked to people from Master Distiller before, never really actually met them. He was the first person that I actually met that was on the show. Um, and it's one of those things that you watch the show, you see all the things that they do on there. It, it's it, it, it's inventive stuff, because they're put under like make this out of this, and they got to do it, so it's kind of cool. I like
Yeah,
how they do that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool.
yeah. It was neat when the first one from your state.
Yeah.
The main master distiller Brian Hamner. It's like, oh, he's fucking awesome. And Scott Hamlick from New Hampshire.
Yeah.
It's really cool when they went through. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're on the map. We made it. Those guys put us on the map.
Yep. Now, what do you think are some of the better ways to ensure quality over like a period of during a run? If you're doing a run there and you want to make sure that your liquor stays a good, nice quality.
Well, that's what you start with. You get out of it what you put into it. If you use your quality stuff and keep an eye on it, and low and slow, how they all say low and
I'll
slow.
say that. Yeah.
I should imagine it's what you put into it is what you get out of it.
Put your love into that.
Yeah.
You get some good stuff out.
Yeah. Some
Yep.
people are right into it. It is, like
Oh
they
yeah.
know what temperature and what this, and this cup had
Nice.
and stuff. It's amazing how much that they pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Um,
And when I talk to those people, I feel like dumb because I'm like, I don't
yeah,
know. I just throw the stuff into here and put this in it, and then when it's done, I put it into here and light a fire.
yeah,
I don't know all that stuff.
and they've got it broken right up into little sections. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, this part had this much, and my temperature went up this much, and
Yeah.
it smelled this much, and when I touched it, it had this taste, and it was like, wow. Uh,
That's something in there. I'm telling you that. Cheapers creepers.
yeah.
Now, the moonshining overall, how has it changed or altered like your worldview or your lifestyle at all? Has it at all?
Wow, yeah, family.
Yeah.
I don't have family. Shiner Sam. That was what I was really. I kind of missed the family that my buddy had given me, and
Yep.
Sam kind of stepped right into that and dragged me in. We had we all had the dislike of Mike Cockrell, which was what brought us all together. But and through that, I met really great people. That were in that group. And some of them, they don't have a dislike of Mike Cockrell. You don't have to hate him to be in there. We don't pick on him all the time. It's just something we all have in common. And, like Troy Halsey, he was like one of my first Facebook friends in the moonshine world. And Dave Masters, he's a really nice guy. And John Bent, I almost said John who?
I've
John
been
They were all like my first friends because they were in there. And it's not because they have a dislike of Mike Cockrell. They were in there because of Shiner Sam. They appreciated who he was.
Yeah.
You know.
Nice. Now, what would you think would be one of the most rewarding aspects of the moonshine, being a moonshiner or the moonshine community as a whole?
It seems like everybody likes to have somebody like what they've done. Oh, that tastes good, or look at the clarity of it, or how'd you come up with that idea? And everybody seems to, pleasing.
Yep.
That people aren't people pleasers per se, but they like to have that little smile go across somebody's face when they take a hit off something.
Yeah.
You know, the little handshakes that go around. They like to have the little review done of it, and so everybody knows what a great job they did, and
Oh yeah.
it makes you happy to do something like that. It's put time into it. There's a lot of time.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's not
Absolutely.
poor man's hobby. You
Yep.
know, it's expensive. You know, so
Especially with a lot of those specialty corns that are coming out and stuff, specialty grains as a whole, they're coming out.
and when those little flats that they put them in, and little plastic things that they put them in and stuff, and
Those aren't cheap.
no, and it's not cheap. So when somebody does something like that for you, it's special. They wanted your opinion. They wanted to make you happy.
Yeah,
It was important to them to reach out like that. So
absolutely it is.
yeah,
Um,
that's
now, have you heard of anybody facing any kind of legal challenges or anything like that because of home distillation?
no, not of.
I have. I mean, I've seen things like people post like I've seen a post here and there about such and such got arrested in 20 gallons, but I've never heard of anybody that I know
Cooler Gate.
or yeah.
Ask it.
Yeah, Coolgate, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was the only real. I don't think I. Uh,
I spent a lot of speaking of spending a lot of money, I spent a lot of money on that.
yeah.
Those
No.
police officers must have had a good time after that
Ah, that sucks.
tell you.
No, I don't know the misbehaving at Master Distiller there. That was like my first, thing that I had heard about. But other than that, I really don't think I've heard of anybody.
Go figure, you get a bunch of liquor makers together, They're gonna misbehave? What?
Yeah, imagine. No,
Wow.
the festivals are getting bigger. People are going to these festivals because they want to meet these people. You
And,
know,
I don't think I've even heard of anything really major happening at any of these festivals.
no,
As big as they're getting, um, I don't think there are any real big legal issues.
no,
Um,
mm,
so I think for the most part, things are going over pretty well considering, you know,
yeah.
consider
The, the
minus
fest,
Coolergate.
it's neat to see more of them coming up. Like the
Yeah.
Louisiana is coming up. It's like a first annual. It's like nice. People want to meet these people. They get attached to them when you're watching them on TV. You get attached, and they only give this little, 15-second blurb of their life at home. But
Yeah.
while they're there, you get to appreciate their, sense of humor and how they interact with other people. You
Yep.
know,
And who they actually are. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's kind of fun.
Terrell and I can't think of her name right now. When they were on, and they were battle buddies. That there weren't a dry eye in the house. And you get attached to them like Mina. I love her for her herbs and her knowledge. So I got attached to her. I think she's the greatest. Because of that. But it's just something you see in them, and you want to meet them, and you want to have them not recognize you or anything, but we all remember the first time somebody from the Moonshine Show, something mentioned us in a comment, or
Yeah.
and it means something to people. It does. It doesn't sound like much. It does. It means something.
Yep. It does.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the herbs and stuff like that, you go by the Ditch Witch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I was on road crew. I worked road construction for quite a few years. I was foreman on the road crew in our town. We were the only female road crew for a while. And of course, the guys, we grew up together. It's a small town. Everybody knows each other. And, at lunch, I'd be out picking stuff in the fields, or, in the ditch. I'd go, hey, that's that. And I'd tell my mouth or whatever. So they just started saying there's a witch in the ditch. And also I ended up with Ditch Witch
Kind of stuff.
for a nickname, and it's stuck. It's been there, I don't know, 94 or so, and it's stuck.
Wow.
It's the Ditch Witch. I was always doing something, in my sandwich. I'd open up my sandwich and throw stuff in there, and they were always like, "What are you doing?" Or so.
And you still do that. You still do a lot of collecting herbs and stuff out there, right? Doing a lot.
Yeah, forage around. This year, I did a lot of seeds. I tried to collect seeds.
Nice.
Uh, we had a good flower garden. I tried to keep medicinals, and I tried to keep all the seeds off them. And
Nice.
yeah,
Did you have you found any medicinals out there yet that can cure stupidity?
no,
Come on. That's what we're looking for.
no, no, I'd be a millionaire if I did, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Better patent that up and don't lock it up. Don't let nobody else know about it until you can patent that.
Yeah, yeah. Some people
Yeah.
need more than others.
Yeah, that's the truth. Now, what would you say are do you have any hopes and dreams, would you say, are for the future of moonshining?
Wow, that it gets legal and people can be more free and not worry so much.
Yeah.
I have people I talk to on my messenger, and they have those disappearing messages. They don't even want it found. Anything they say. It's it,
Yeah.
and then you get the people who just live right out loud. It's hard.
Yeah. I know that there's people on both sides of that. That the disappearing they'll tell you something and as soon as you read it, they delete it because
Yeah,
they don't want it seen.
right.
Um, you
And it
know,
doesn't necessarily mean it's anything against anybody else. It
yeah.
might be just, well, I put together a map today, and 15 gallons in a barrel.
Yeah.
Disappeared. And, those are the ones that tight because, you know,
Well, yeah, we know that all of our
it's a security.
we know all of our texts and everything are being monitored. So it's some people, it's understandable. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that because we know.
I appreciate people more than I do the people that, live right out loud because,
Yeah,
and it comes back from, being a pot, smoker way back when, you had, if you were going to buy a bag of weed or something, oh, you're going to need wood, and you had to, kind of use code words,
yeah,
It's like that with the moonshiners, people that are old school,
yeah.
and I appreciate that.
Kind of try and live out in the open, but not so much that it. I guess there's a fine line.
Yes, you can
There's
punish
a
them, you have to only
there's,
put out what you're willing to own.
yeah, there's a fine line. Being a part of everything and talking to people and doing this kind of stuff and learning about stuff. And then there's that line that you just don't want to cross, saying I have this and I'm doing this.
Yes.
So yeah, I can get that. I
Yeah,
get that.
the people that are old school, I appreciate them because that's, how I grew up. That's how it always is, you were quiet about that.
Yeah. Now, is there anything that you think that people on the outside of the moonshine community, is there anything that you would want them to learn or to know about the moonshine community?
Wow, how much of a family it is, you know? Somebody, they have a house fire, they're on it. They're like, we're delivering so and so this, so and so needs this, somebody's sick, somebody's all the fundraisers that, people have done and stuff. How much of a family it is.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. That's one of the things that really drew me in initially as well was the not just the ability, the want to help. Um, it's people actually want to help you.
They pull it. I
Yeah.
mean, Johnny Benz was up to here and kids' toys, and
Oh yeah.
he was doling them out,
Yeah.
like with the hurricane relief, so many people jumped on right when it happened and stuff, and then it's petered off. You got people like Dave. He's still going down there every weekend.
Yeah.
He's still making trips. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
It's
It's amazing. I
yeah,
mean, people in this community, they're amazing. The things that they've been able to accomplish, things they've been able to do. Um, you know, People jump on, and anything happens, people just jump on and help.
yeah,
It's not, you know, they
well,
don't they don't ask questions, they don't pass judgment. Um, they say, okay, you need help, we're gonna
yeah,
help.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I got my first taste of that when my sister died.
Yeah,
My sister ran away when I was really young. I was here for 40 years. She shows up in a pine box. Found her when she was dead. So, there you have, you gotta, I had to become guardian of her body. I had to do all these things to somebody I really, and Shiner Sam was like, let's do a GoFundMe for you. I don't need no GoFundMe. But that was the first, look into how these people jump to help. He
yeah,
was up a GoFundMe to help me get my sister cremated, get her body brought home, the whole 9 yards. And that was my first view into it
yeah,
of how quickly these people can jump into action. What do you need? And I didn't know what I need. I this was somebody I didn't even know. All of a sudden, I had to, get guardianship of her body, take care of her cremation and all that. No idea what to do, and without Sam and people listening to me, just when I typed, this is a lot, he listened. You know, it's quite a family, and how much they do. They jump right in to help.
It's good, and it's good to have people like that. It's good to have family like that around. You know,
Hmm.
you have the family you're born into, and you have the family you choose.
Yeah. See,
Um,
I got my kids, but my parents are all gone, and aunts and uncles and all that, they're all gone. So I didn't have family. So bought my house and finally, got set into, I'm gonna make it. The one thing that was missing was family. I needed that brotherly advice that I used to get from my buddy Rocky, when he was doing the moonshine. And I needed that, just that love, from somebody.
and you found it. Good.
Yeah, yeah, I found it right in the moonshine community. It blossomed, and now I have family. I got sisters all over the place. I got, people I call brothers all over the place, and
Awesome.
you know, it is. It's a great community. It's there aren't many beads, and
Yeah,
the
not
ones,
many.
yeah, and
Not many at all.
pointed. They're pinpointed. You
Yeah.
learn about them quickly.
Yep, you do.
You know.
And that's one of the things that I've seen as well is that you know who's who. And for the most part, there's a lot of good people out there.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of good people that are willing to help you when you need it, or willing to listen to you when you just needed somebody to talk to.
yes, yeah. Just
Um,
out of the blue, friends
yep,
with people. Oh, that's the guy that put the money up for the still. He was in the group there with me, and uh, I didn't really know him from nothing. You
yeah,
know, his wife chose to help me out of everybody else that they could have thought of. That they thought of me. That really meant a lot. And then, like, I don't know, 2 3 weeks later, he became my friend on Facebook. We weren't even friends. you know? And, the people whose wives I've met, I'm friends with a lot of the guys. It's a lot of guys, but a lot of them, they to know their wives. Their wives trust me to, know their husbands. I'm
yeah,
able to text them, have a problem. I'm not sliding DMs,
yeah.
and just, hey, how you doing? It's it that's family. There's a lot of that. It's nice.
That's good. Now, if you had any advice you would give somebody that was coming into the community or thinking about making moonshine, what would it be?
Stop and listen, you know, ask questions. Don't feel bad to ask the questions. I've asked some pretty stupid questions, and everybody's answered me, they don't make fun of me until I start making fun of myself, and then they're going, "Yeah, I wondered why you didn't put that together," or something. But they just honestly answer you, and you'll be looking at something, and people will say, "Well, don't do that if like a Beaver. Don't buy a Beaver. If you do, buy the one with a football, because then you can, update it and stuff."
Yeah,
So if you ask those questions before you jump in, and you pretty much can tell who's knowledge and who's just running their gums.
yeah,
You know, you can tell, and so some people, they just want to help you, and they're interested, you know, making it easier. And if you asking the questions in the right groups, there's a ton of groups out there. But if you're interested in getting into moonshine, ask somebody that sparked your interest. You had to see something,
yeah.
you know.
Cool.
And
Something.
Amanda being on, Amanda's brought so many women into it,
Yep,
because Amanda's on. Not
yep.
that, email Amanda and ask her something, but
She
you
keeps
know,
busy as all heck, but
yeah,
she can also point you in a good direction. She may be slow at answering messages and such like that, but she will eventually get back to you. and she can point you in a good direction, and she definitely will.
I just had somebody on my Facebook that lives around me, and he was like, "Oh, I'd like to get into it and stuff." And I was like, "Well, if you want to get into it, there's a lot of good still builders, and just ask questions. Just let us know.
Yep.
A couple people answered him on there too. Like North Georgia Still, and
Yep.
stuff. We're a reputable company. Ready to help, answer questions. They get back to you too.
Yep, they do. And that's one good thing is that any of these still builders out there, Ace Custom Copper, North Georgia, Appalachian Plateau, Tiger, any of these reputable still builders, if you ask them questions, they're going to answer you.
Yes. Well, they're not going to answer to advance themselves.
Yep.
They're going to answer you to help you for what you want. They're not going to say, "Oh, well, you need the biggest still in the county." They're going to say, "You're not sure if you're going to like it, then try this out because there's a resale on it." Don't buy the Viver because everybody can get those. If you buy a copper one, don't like it, then there's a resale value.
Yeah.
They help you that way. They aren't in it to just advance themselves.
Yep. They do. And then once you get into that, they're good people. Once you get to know them and they're your friends, they're good people.
Yeah.
All these guys, Tracy, Sean Peterman, Bruiser, these guys are all good people.
I love
Andrew. They're awesome people.
Yes. Yeah, I love Bruiser's. I love his he's got a little kid quality to him where he's a little smart ass in there. I love that.
Well, Lisa, that's all the questions I had for you. We were about 37 minutes in, so that's about par for the course. So it did go quick, didn't it?
I think it's the first time I've talked to you and I haven't been buzzed. We didn't do shit the whole time.
I'm telling you, somebody didn't interrupt and didn't go over. What the heck's going on?
I didn't pregame.
Well, Lisa Day, I thank you so much for sitting down with me for this. It's almost 40 minutes now. It's been awesome. Been good talking to you.
Been good talking to you.
We will see you on the next. I don't know. Well, tonight is
Santa and Roger.
Yeah. Yep. Then the shit goes Friday. So
we'll see you. We will see you. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you much. Everybody out there. Thanks for watching. You have a good night. Love, peace, and chicken grease.
Bye.
Bye.